Who are you, really? Not your name, not your role, not your story, but you. The consciousness that is hearing these words right now. Have you ever wondered if the thing you call me is even real? There comes a moment in life when this question is no longer philosophical, when it becomes existential, when you suddenly realize everything I thought was for myself is just a construct, a story, a pattern of thoughts that perpetuates itself. Today we're talking about the greatest illusion of human existence, the ego, not as an enemy but as a misunderstanding, and why dissolving this illusion isn't your end, but your liberation. Perhaps you've experienced this feeling before, in a quiet moment, in nature, or after a profound crisis, when suddenly everything falls silent, when the constant chatter in your head stops and you sense there is something greater, something that is observing, something that exists, even when all thoughts are silent. If this resonates with you, leave a like as a sign that you're ready to delve deeper, subscribe for more consciousness research, and comment, "I am not my thoughts." A life-changing realization. Take a deep breath, and let's delve together into the nature of the self. Alan Watts, the British philosopher who bridged Western and Eastern wisdom, said something radical. The ego is nothing more than a social construct, a collection of memories, expectations, and stories that we believe to be real. But he went even further. He said, "You are not in the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself as a human being." That sounds abstract, but let me show you what it really means. Your ego, what you call I, is like a wave in the ocean. The wave has a shape, a name, a history. It rises, it moves, it breaks. And all the while, the wave believes it is separate from the ocean. It struggles. It is afraid of sinking. It wants to be bigger than the other waves. But here is the truth. The wave was never separate. It was always the ocean. The form was temporary. The essence was eternal. You are that wave. Your ego is the form. But what you truly are is the ocean. Joe Dispenza explains this from the perspective of Your brain is programmed to repeat patterns. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, strengthens neural connections. And over the years, a fixed network is formed, a program. And this program is what you call me. But here's the fascinating part. This self isn't stable. It's constantly changing. The person you were 10 years ago no longer exists. Your cells are different. Your thoughts are different. Your beliefs are different. And yet you cling to the idea that there is a fixed, unchanging self. Bruce Lipton goes even deeper. He shows that 95 to 95% of our daily behavior is not controlled by our conscious mind, but by the subconscious. By programs we adopted in the first 7 years of life, this means that most of what you consider yourself isn't even your own belief. It's adopted programming. From parents, from society, from environment. Do you feel that? You are not the program. You are the consciousness that can observe the program. Let me tell you a story. There's an old Zen parable. A student comes to his master and asks, "Master, who am I really?" The master replies, "Who is asking?" The student considers this and says, "I am." The master smiles, and who is this I that observes you asking the question? The student remains silent, and in that silence he understands there's always a deeper level, always a consciousness behind consciousness. And at some point you realize what you're looking for is what's looking for. Tom Campbell, the physicist and consciousness researcher, describes this from the perspective of quantum theory. He says, consciousness is not in you. You are in consciousness. Your body, your thoughts, your entire reality are streams of information within a larger field of consciousness. So, if you say I'm stressed, that's not quite right. A more accurate statement would be, there is stress in this system that I'm observing. Subtle difference. Huge effect, because as soon as you identify yourself as an observer, not as the observed, you have space, freedom, choice. Gregg Braden explains it this way. When your heart field is coherent, when you are in a state of inner peace, your heart emits a clear frequency. And this frequency influences not only your body, but the entire quantum field around you. But when you identify with the ego, with the constant narrative of I must, I want, I need, the field becomes chaotic, incoherent. The ego isn't evil, it's just narrow. It's like a radio stuck on a single station, and that station constantly broadcasts the same thing: fear, lack, separation. But you are not the radio. You are the room in which the radio plays. Imagine you're sitting in a movie theater. A drama is playing on the screen. Perhaps a thriller, perhaps a tragedy. The characters are struggling. They are suffering. They are searching. And you, in the audience, are completely involved. You identify with the protagonist. You feel their pain, their fear, their hope. But then something happens. Someone switches on the light, and suddenly you see it's just a movie. The screen is empty. The characters were never real. And you were safe the whole time. In your armchair, outside the drama, your life is this movie. Your ego is the character, but you're the one watching. Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Not positive thinking, but the ability to see oneself from the outside, as a consciousness having a human experience, not as a human being trying to become conscious. Let's feel this now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and ask yourself this question. Who is breathing right now? Your body or something through your body? Feel how the breath comes on its own, without your doing, without control. And now ask yourself, who is observing the breath? Who is aware that breathing is taking place? Stay in this space. In this silent observation, this is your true self, not the thoughts, not the emotions, but that which perceives them all. Slowly open your eyes and take this stillness with you. Now you might ask, but if I am not my ego, then who am I? And how do I live without it? Here's the truth. You don't live without ego. You live through it. The ego is like a tool, necessary for human life, for language, for planning, for survival, but it's not the driver. It's the car. First, observe your thoughts without identifying with them. If a thought like I'm not good enough comes up, don't say that's me. Say there's a thought about inadequacy. Small difference, huge freedom. Second, practice presence. The ego lives either in the past or in the future, regret or fear, but your true self. It exists only now, in this moment. When you are fully present, the ego collapses, not because you are fighting it, but because it no longer has room. Third, recognize that you are not your frequency. You choose it. When you see yourself as ego, as a separate self, you send out a frequency of separation. But when you recognize yourself as consciousness, as part of the greater whole, everything changes. Your cells hear it. Your heart field hears it. The universe hears it. I want to tell you about a man. His name was Richard. He was a successful lawyer, intelligent, respected, but empty inside. He once told me, I've achieved everything I wanted, but I feel like a stranger in my own life. Then he had an accident. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to keep him bedridden for weeks. And in that silence, in that enforced pause, something began to break. The mask, the role, the construct, he said, suddenly. I didn't know who I was anymore, and it was the most liberating thing that ever happened to me. Richard no longer practices law. He teaches meditation, not because he wanted to escape, but because he found himself. Not the constructed self, but the true self. So, my friend, what if you were never lost? What if you simply forgot that you were never a wave, but always the ocean? What if dissolving the ego is not your death, but your birth? Breathe and feel. Behind all thoughts, behind all stories, behind all drama, there is a stillness, a vastness, a being that was never born and will never die. That's you, perhaps. Awakening is nothing other than realizing, I was never the prison. I was always heaven. Thank you for being here. Take another deep breath. And remember, you are not the wave. You are the ocean playing waves.